ask me questions, I'll answer your questions as long as they don't invade my privacy. Don't ask me about my family or addresses or contact information about people or whatever. I'm not going to answer any of that shit. But if you want to ask me about what I've been doing and who I've met and stuff like that, I've always been very clear. I've said to them point blank, I've met with people that you would deem to be terrorists, and I have every right to meet anyone I want, whenever I want, and because I meet with somebody, it has nothing to do with who I am. In fact, people that I'm diametrically opposed to, I'm interested to meet, more than the ones who swallow and believe everything I believe anyway. It's the people that you don't agree with that are most important to get to meet. So, if you want to try and claim by association I'm involved in things that other people are involved in, well, you go ahead and make that claim, but that's a bunch of shit. Everything I stand for is very publicly known. And so that was the first FBI interview that I had. I came back a year or two later, and it's always kind of unique when I come back, because I have this dive shop, or I have this dive shop in Hawaii. I did I rescued 46 turtles personally that were wrapped in fishing line. I did a lot of work for marine conservation. We got a marine sanctuary set up in our own backyard. It was really a social enterprise more than a business. It was set up to protect the marine environment and to fund that protection by taking our customers out diving and whale watching. So I have this dive business in paradise on the North Shore of Oahu, the surfing capital of the world. And whenever I come back into town, here comes Ken, it's like a completely different reality. And so I'm back at the shop again, and one of our employees, comes up to me, this, mild-mannered Californian surfer type employee, and says, yeah, I got a message from a special agent so-and-so from the FBI, and he'd like you to give him a call. So this is not the normal type of thing that the dive shop is experiencing, but here comes Ken, and this is the kind of thing that's happening. So I call the guy, and I'll always remember this exchange. I called him up, and he was immediately very kind. I said, hi, this is Ken O'Keefe. You wanted me to call? Thank you very much for calling. We just wanted to talk to you for a few moments about some things. And I said, yeah, what is it? The Israelis saying I'm a terrorist again. And he said, well, yeah, but they're also saying that you're getting paid by Hamas. And immediately I was like, really? So how much am I getting paid? And he said, $400. And I laughed my ass off. You're fucking kidding me, man. I'm a cheap son of a bitch. All right, $400. And I laughed, and he laughed, and he said, listen, we know, I'll always remember these words, we know this is bullshit, and we don't like the Israelis. That's what he said to me. And to me, that was a really important exchange. I was talking with someone earlier about this. There are a lot of people in positions of the military, even in politics, and also in the intelligence services, the FBI, and even I'm sure the CIA. There are many people in there who over the years have begun to realize, holy shit, the enemy is completely inside the gate. The policies that we are carrying out are not beneficial to the American people, to the world, to anyone, quite frankly, not even to the so-called Jewish state, if you ask me. But the policies are driven by the agenda of the so-called Jewish state. And what he told me in that statement was, there's a lot of us, because this guy, if he had met me 5 years or 10 years earlier, he probably would have thought, that piece of shit, motherfucking anti-American bastard traitor, probably he would have thought of me that way. And that's how most would have thought of me and did think of me. But I know over the years, because I've heard from more and more veterans and oath keepers and people who actually care about America, they're beginning to realize we have an enemy inside the gate, and they're literally running the show. And this is fucking embarrassing, quite frankly, and it's shameful. Especially a nation that prides itself on its strength of character and all these virtuous things, and yet we have a fucking enemy determining policy to the point that we find these ventures that we're playing into in the Middle East. I mean, let's look at that region.